I'm explaining a film from 2015 titled Curve. Spoilers ahead. Enjoy the content. So this film begins by telling the story of a beautiful girl named Mallory. She is driving quite a distance in her fiancé's car, to Ella's house, her sister, who was going to do a dress rehearsal for her wedding which would be held in 2 weeks. When she stopped at the station to fill up with gas, Mallory called her sister. In this conversation, it was heard that Mallory was not very enthusiastic about her future marriage. Then Mallory continued her journey through a fairly quiet road. Unfortunately, in the middle of the journey her car suddenly broke down. She stopped to check whether it could be repaired or not. Mallory tried to call for help but failed because there was no reception in the area. Mallory returned to her car and drank a can of drink which she accidentally spilled, making her clothes wet. Mallory also changed her wet clothes. When she was about to change her clothes, she was surprised by the appearance of a strange man walking. The man seemed friendly and greeted Mallory, realizing that he had shocked Mallory, so the man apologized by offering to help check Mallory's broken-down car. Because Mallory really needed help, she allowed the man to repair her car. It didn't take long for the man to repair Mallory's car. He managed to repair Mallory's broken-down car until it started again. While blushing, Mallory said that she was very amazed by the abilities of this handsome strange man. They finally got to know each other. The man's name is Christian. Mallory intends to give some money in return but Christian refuses. Christian looks like he needs a ride but Mallory is hesitant to give him one. She subtly refuses and apologizes to Christian for not being able to give him a ride, because Christian is a stranger and they have just met. Christian politely said that he understood Mallory's doubts. Not having driven far, Mallory suddenly stopped the car. She felt like she couldn't bear to just leave Christian, who had helped her start her car which had broken down earlier. Mallory turns around and invites Christian to ride in the car with her. Christian previously convinces Mallory, is she sure about giving a ride to a stranger? What if it turns out he is a bad person? Mallory casually said that she would take the risk. They finally went together in the same car. Mallory then suggested Christian's destination and where she should drop him off. Christian said that he asked to be dropped off at a nearby motel. Mallory was also interested in what Christian said. She also needed rest and food after struggling with previous car problems. But apparently Christian misunderstood. He thought that it was a code from Mallory who wanted to have sex with him. They talked a lot during the trip. At first Christian seemed like a good listener but over time his behavior and speech became strange and slurred. Slowly his true nature began to emerge. Mallory felt uncomfortable with all of it. Christian said that their meeting was not a coincidence, but was fate. Without shame, Christian asked Mallory to give him a blow-job. Hearing that, Mallory was angry and offended and asked Christian to get out of his car. Instead of getting out, Christian instead took out a knife and threatened Mallory to continue walking. While crying in fear, Mallory was forced to follow Christian's orders under threat of the knife. Now Mallory realized that she had given a lift to a psycho. When Christian was careless, Mallory then stepped on the gas at speed and swerved into a ravine so that the car fell upside down. As a result, Mallory was trapped in the car with serious injuries, with her head hitting and her legs pinned between the steering wheel and the car seat. Meanwhile, Christian bounced from the car until he was unconscious. With all her might, Mallory tried to free herself, but the harder she tried, the more her legs were trapped. She screamed in pain because her leg was badly injured. Mallory bandaged the wound with clothes to stop the bleeding. Meanwhile, Christian began to wake up from his stupor and started to approach Mallory. Realizing this, Mallory tried to grab the knife that was nearby and hide it. Christian, who saw Mallory trapped in pain. Instead of helping, he blamed Mallory that all of this happened because of her fault. Mallory also begged Christian to help her. Christian casually left her saying, "Good luck, Mallory." Mallory screamed for help, but unfortunately no one heard her because she was in the middle of the forest. It was getting dark. Mallory was alone and accompanied only by a knife, matches and a little drink and a small flashlight. Day after day changed. Mallory had been stuck without eating or drinking for 3 days. The wound on Mallory's leg became more infected and swollen. The next day Christian came to bring food and drink. Christian said that a kind family invited him to stay at their house. He also said that he would soon invite the family to play something fun. Mallory, who is now starving in the accident, Christian brings her food but on the condition that Mallory must tell him how she lost her virginity first. At first she refused, but because she was very hungry, then Mallory told him. She said that it was the first time she had intimate relations with a man who was older than her. Hearing that, Christian was aroused, but he seemed to know that Mallory was just pretending and telling him lies. Christian asks Mallory if next time she has to be honest. Mallory agrees and asks for the food, but Christian throws the food away and leaves her. Evening came. Mallory's condition became weaker because she had not eaten or drank for days. Mallory was forced to drink her own urine to quench her thirst. The next day, Mallory found her cell phone which had fallen near the car. She intended to ask for help, but unfortunately, Christian came quickly and Mallory hit her cell phone. Surprisingly, the cell phone rang, causing Christian to immediately grab it and destroy it. Christian then took out the tools he was carrying, such as an axe, saw and hammer. Mallory was so scared, she thought Christian was going to finish her off. Christian gave Mallory a saw which he could use as a tool to cut off her stuck leg if she wanted to be free immediately. Christian also said that the choice was up to her. Please choose whether Mallory wanted to be free or if she remained trapped like that, and he left. After Christian left, Mallory wanted to do it but suddenly thought better of it. That night, a big rat tried to gnaw on Mallory's injured leg, perhaps because of the fishy smell of dried blood. But Mallory killed the rat first. Because her hunger was no longer unbearable, Mallory ate the rat and no longer cared about her disgust with rats. Very heavy rain came down. Mallory heard the sound of a car stopping not far from her place. Mallory screams for help but realizes that it is Christian's car, so she smears the dead rat's blood on her leg so that Christian thinks she has cut her leg. Christian was confused by Mallory's actions. He thought that Mallory had died from blood loss. When Christian was off guard, Mallory tried to stab him but failed, but she managed to take his car keys and throw them away. Christian, who was very angry, tried to hit her, but because the rain was getting heavier, he left Mallory. Christian tries to start his car without the key. Suddenly a police car passes by and stops. Christian told the police that his car had broken down. Hearing that, Mallory screamed for help. The police faintly heard Mallory's screams. But Christian was smarter. He managed to outwit the policeman and asked him to take him, and finally they left. The rain became heavier that night, causing the river water level to rise and flood the forest area. Mallory's car was not spared from the sweep of the flood, so it was swept away by the river current. As a result, Mallory's feet were free from the trap and she immediately swam along the river bank. With a limp, Mallory walked through the dark night amidst the pouring rain which was still falling heavily. Mallory arrived at a house and she went to the house to ask for help. She was almost hit by a mine trap in the yard of the house. How shocked Mallory was when she found many bodies lying around in the house. What shocked her most was that she saw Christian torturing the policeman she had seen earlier. It turned out that this was the family that Christian was talking about at that time. After killing the policeman very cruelly, Christian then took the policeman's clothes and put them on. He acted like a policeman to make it easier for him to find his next prey. Meanwhile, Mallory did not waste the opportunity to go inside and take the poor policeman's gun. She then entered the room where there was a girl who was being held captive by Christian. Mallory tried to free the girl but Christian suddenly came. She immediately pointed a gun and shot him but Christian managed to dodge. Mallory then hid, but after a long time Christian managed to catch her. They struggled. Luckily Mallory managed to escape by biting Christian's hand. Mallory ran again and hid in the attic, then Christian followed her, while the girl who was free earlier tricked Christian by throwing something from below. Christian then checked the noise. Mallory immediately pushed him so hard that he fell to the ground and his leg was hit by a trap he had set himself in the yard of the house. This caused Christian's leg to break and tear so that the bones came out. Seeing this, Mallory gave Christian a knife so that he could cut his own leg to free himself from the trap, exactly like what he had done when Mallory was trapped in her car before. Mallory also repeated what Christian said the other day, that their meeting was not a coincidence, but because of God's will. Mallory argued that she wasn't the one who gave the wrong person a lift, but that Christian was the one who was at fault because he had hitched a ride in the wrong car. Then Mallory and the girl left Christian with his leg trapped and badly injured. Christian roared in pain while asking for help but Mallory ignored him, just like what Christian had done to her before, as the film ended. That's all the recap. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to give a like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support would be appreciated. I hope to see you next time.